Hello and welcome to Business Insider with Mario Toneguzzi on YYC Business, brought to you by MegaPixx Media. Joining me is Elton Ash, who is Regional Executive Vice President for RE/MAX of Western Canada. Thanks for joining us again, Elton.
Great to be with you, Mario.
Today, RE/MAX put out a housing market outlook report. Looking at a number of different markets across the country. I want to focus our attention mostly on Calgary and perhaps a little bit on Alberta, but what's the outlook in general for the rest of the year for the housing market?
Well, as we look quickly across the country, we're going to see a more muted market, I guess is the best way to describe it. Probably about a 4 to 5% price increase on average across the country. As we get to Calgary specifically, it's going to be a bit of a more stable market compared to the rest of the country. Probably about a zero flat price increase, which I think is good news from an overall market point of view for the Calgary market, especially given affordability. And that's the highlight for Calgary and Alberta in general, is that it is one of the most affordable markets in the country.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about some of the factors that are impacting the housing market today in across the country, really. What are some of the key factors in your opinion?
Well, the key factors right now, of course, are the record low interest rates and the fact that the Bank of Canada has certainly signaled strongly that they will remain stable through to the third quarter of 2022 at the very minimum. Lack of inventory is the other big story, coupled with the strong buyer demand. But homeowners are still, quite frankly, scared to put their home on the market. And of course, the reasons for that, there's two reasons. There's, of course, the concerns over health safety and COVID-19 protocols. But more critical is homeowners, if they sell, what are they going to buy? And so they're scared about that prospect of selling their home overnight, so to speak, and then having a hard time finding something else for them. So that's a huge factor. And of course, the overall economy. I mean, we're seeing growth, we're seeing a return in the overall economic sector of Canada. And so that is adding to the overall consumer confidence.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the the inventory, because our family was stuck in that situation about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when we bought a home, and we sold our house, and then boy, it was tough. There wasn't that many houses on the market, so I can fully understand that. When you look at I guess the demand, it seems to me that it's been pretty strong this year, obviously, in the midst of a pandemic, which kind of many people think, well, why are people buying houses when there's so much uncertainty out there in the world, and so much uncertainty even from the economy's perspective?
Yeah, it's a good point. COVID-19 and the economic slowdown as a result of that. I mean, of course, when we look back to March and April, a year and a half ago, when the economy came to full stop, everything was affected. But then real estate started to pick up in July, August, and through to a year ago to today. It was very busy, but we have to understand that the economic crisis that was a result of COVID really affected the non-homeowner segment. It was the hospitality industry, the service sector, tourism, hotels, restaurants, and those typically are the lower paying jobs, and they're renters. And so when we look at the high-tech field, for example, tremendous opportunity and business. And so the higher paying jobs, and this is generally speaking, but this is what we saw, which is a home ownership segment, did very well. Mm-hmm. And then you couple that with people being isolated in their homes, working remotely, having the kids at home with remote learning as well, coming to realize that the home that they thought was perfect when they bought it really didn't work well in those circumstances. And with technology and employers allowing remote work going forward from now, from the COVID crisis, as we return to more normal situations, allowing employees to work from home. So is this movement out of the city now that has been going on for a year. And so you take all these factors coupled together has increased buyer demand.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? That the market over the years traditionally has been, has been defined, I guess, in many ways by people moving up, wanting bigger houses, right? Or the other spectrum, people moving down. They want smaller houses, etc. But now we have this whole new dynamic of, and you know what? Everything I see and keep hearing and reading is that the return to work situation is going to be so different, even when this is all over. Like people are going to be working from home more so, and maybe there's going to be a hybrid situation there. So that's all only going to fuel the market, I guess, in the coming years, is it not?
It will certainly continue to affect the residential market. There is going to be an effect to the commercial market as well, especially at downtown office space and how that's all going to be reconfigured. I mean, myself as an employer with 20 staff, 8,000 square feet, we no longer need that. A third of my team are now working from home remotely and going to stay that way. Well, we are now negotiating with our landlord to go down to 5,000 square feet. So pretty common theme throughout.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else that struck you from the report, Elton?
I think the thing from the Canadian point of view is that we as Canadians value home ownership as strongly as we ever have. COVID come and go. We are still one of the highest home ownership rates in the world at 68%. There's been a lot of talk with the election we just had about the affordability crisis, and certainly there is, especially when you look at all sectors from multifamily rentals through to single family home ownership, and that has to be addressed. But Canadians love their homes and will continue to do so.
All right, super. Thanks again for joining us, Elton.
You're welcome, Mario.
All right, that was Elton Ash, who is Regional Executive Vice President for RE/MAX of Western Canada. This has been Business Insider with Mario Toneguzzi on YYC Business, brought to you by MegaPixx Media. Thanks for joining us.